Empower life with Cleopatra. Awaken the best version of you. Unlock your true potential. Empower your mind, body, and soul. Live with intentions, live with a purpose. Empower your dreams, make it happen today. No matter your age, rise and shine. Live boldly, live authentically. It's your time to rise and shine. Empower life with Cleopatra. Awaken the best version of you. Your journey starts today. You got one life to live. Love yourself, be kind to others, break free and let your spirit soar. Empower life with Cleopatra. Will help you awaken the best version of you. Empower life with Cleopatra. Empower life with Cleopatra.
Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to the show. I know there are some people already in the chats. I know Stan is already in the chat. So if you're in the chat, put something on. Hi, Stan. Thank you for joining. Who else is here? Robin. Hi, Robin. Thank you for joining. Listen, guys, it's going to be good one. Okay. I'm so excited tonight because I just learned something new about my guest, and I'm going to mention it. I've asked her if they get to talk about it. Honestly, I'm going to mention it. So, welcome everybody to the show. Welcome, welcome. Honestly, who else is here? Who else is here? Who else is here? Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome. If you're in the chat, put something for me. Let me see. Hyacinth, honestly, thank you so much for joining, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, once again, welcome to another transformative episode of Empower Life with Cleopatra. Today, we are diving deep into a timeless philosophy that touches every part of our lives, the 12 laws of karma. Now, when you hear the word karma, what comes to mind? For many of us, it's simply the idea of something good or bad happening as a result of our past actions. Maybe you've heard someone say, must be bad karma when things go wrong, right? Or, oh, it's good karma when fortune seems to smile on them, kind of thing, you know? But karma is so much more than that. You know, it's more than luck, it's more than punishment. The word karma comes from the is it Sanskrit?
Sanskrit. Sanskrit.
Yeah, and it means action, work, or deed, and its core is about the ripple effects of everything we do, right? And everything we say and all that. So the 12 laws of karma are not just mystical concepts; they are powerful roadmaps for living. And when they are applied to our daily lives, these laws can fuel creativity, inspire growth, create alignment in our personal and professional worlds. They are not just tools for individuals, but they're for organizations, for teams, for communities to thrive. But before I introduce my guest, guys, please, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's subscribed to my channel. Seriously, you are my royals, and I really love you and appreciate you. Thank you for your support. It means a lot to me. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so, right? See, YouTube are threatening to take me off the channel, right? Because I haven't got 1,000 subscribers yet. Can you imagine? Because it's been like 6 months, right? So just help me to get to that 1,000 so you can leave me alone in peace, at least for now, right? So please subscribe. And if you're watching the replay, make sure to watch to the very end. That way YouTube can share and post it to other people. Yeah. And if you have any ideas on how we can improve this show, if you've got any confessions, confession series is going to come back soon, okay? But if you've got any confessions to make, please drop us a line as well. And it's at empowerlifewithcleopatra@gmail.com, right? And then, we'll take it from there. So, guys, I want you to meet our extraordinary guest tonight. Meet Hyacinth Parsons, a true powerhouse of leadership and community impact. She's the chair of the Jamaican Women's Network and vice chair of the Balham and Tooting Community and Sports Club. With a career spanning government, housing, policy, policing, and the voluntary sector, she has driven change at every level. She's helped shape the UK's national equality strategy as a senior policy manager at the Department of Communities and Local Government. She's mentored civil service leaders, she's trained senior civil servants, and worked with the Metropolitan Police on youth policy and diversity. Hyacinth has led major voluntary organizations in tackling unemployment and exclusion, and even she served as a consultant change manager for Hague Housing. She's armed with a master's in human resource management and a postgraduate diploma in education and a bachelor of education. She is also a trained teacher committed to lifting others as she climbs. She's a true strategist, a mentor, a change maker, a dedicated to equality person, and she empowers a community and she helps transform our community as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Hyacinth Parsons to the show. Thank you so much, Hyacinth, for joining. Thank you.
Oh,
Guys,
it's
stay tuned. Sorry, Hyacinth, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say that I'm not sure I can live up to all that you've said, but I'll try I'll try my best. But
But that's who you are.
it's wonderful for you to invite me, and I'm glad that I can contribute. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Guys, honestly, you will not only discover the 12 laws of karma today, but you will learn how to apply them in your daily life, right? In your work, in your relationships. And don't forget to like and subscribe, like I said before. So over to Hyacinth, please. The table is yours.
Okay, so I think you've asked me some questions, but before we get to the questions, and I'll leave you to answer to ask some of those questions if you want to. But the one thing I want to say about the 12 laws of karma is that it's the precept is that everything is energy. Your thoughts, your emotions, everything that you do in energy. So in essence, everything you do create corresponding energy that comes back to you in one form or the other. The notion also is that we're not separated from one another. The self is just one. So whatever you do to others, you are in effect doing to yourself. That's the whole idea of karma. And I'm sure a lot of people in every country that I can think of have some concept of that. It's always taught in one way or the other. I know that it's taught in Africa, in China, in India, in the Caribbean. So it's a common sense idea that we have, and we must have got it from somewhere. So we must have seen it in action. I mean, how many times have you been told, don't do wrong to that person's child because your child will invariably suffer some ill fate because of that? So, you know, we have that idea. But one of the interesting thing about it is that lately, in terms of science, there is a concept which is very near to it, and that's the concept of entanglement. And it's kind of like a bizarre, counterintuitive phenomenon that explain that subatomic particles are intimately linked to each other. And even if separated by billions of light years or space, despite separation, whatever happens to one happens to the other.
Okay.
And so that to me is fascinating. And you know, as the science develop, I'm sure somewhere along the line, religion and science are going to kind of just get married and live a very happy life. We're heading in that direction. So I think that that's how I'd like to start by talking about the whole idea of karma. So in karma, there's not yourself and myself. There's just the self. And whatever you do to others, you're doing to yourself. So if you want love, if you want whatever, um, whatever you're doing to others, that's what you're inviting back to yourself. So I don't know how you like to handle this, Cleopatra, whether you
No,
like to
just
ask
start
us
with no,
questions.
just start with each one, law one, law two, law three, like that. Yeah, so that people would know what each one
Okay,
is.
so we will just quickly go through the laws and talk about them. So um, the first law is what people knows of, what goes around comes around. And we all say that, you know, it's like it's what they call the supreme law. It's the law that governs everything. It's the law of cause and effect. It's the law of divine oneness, um, and it's the law that there's no space between you and me. We are the same. We are one. And so for those people who are Christian, the proverb would say, "As you sow, so shall you reap." That's the law of karma being explained by the Bible. Um, and put simply, we put what we put into the universe will come back to us. And however, karma is not an instant reward. They say that the universe never forgets, but it's got a lousy filing system. So um, you're not going to get exactly what you put out, but it will come back to you in one shape or the other. And I don't know how many people have said, you know, this has happened to me, and I don't know where or how. I was just thinking, how am I going to pay this? How is that going to happen? And you forget some kind of weird thing that you did so many yonks ago, and the universe decide that this is the present that you need at this
Time to
particular
pay up.
time. So then there's the law of cause and effect, and it's that your behavior and action creates specific things that manifest. The law of creation, which says that you are a co-creator. You're not mutual. You're not inactive. By being inactive, you're still creating. So
Hmm.
whatever you do, you're creating. It's based on your intention. You know, you are a co-creator of whatever is happening. So you don't have a chance of saying, I don't want to be a part of it, because you will be. And how many times have you heard people say that if you don't act, you are in effect negating the action. So if you're not part of the positive, you
You're
are
part of
part
the
of the
problem.
negative. Yes.
That's right.
Um, the law of humility, it says it's futile to fight against things you have no control over. So
Mhm.
it invites you to be wise and know where you can have an impact and know where you can't have an impact. Um, and the one thing to remember is that none of these laws are separate from the other. They are the elephant, and you're just merely feeling the ears, the arms, whatever. It's just one animal, and
Right.
each of them simply describe another part of the law. And there's the law of growth, which says something like true growth starts with yourself. That's it in a nutshell. That if you are thinking of growing things, you start with growing yourself. Um, the law of responsibility say that you must take ownership for what's happening in your life, including the bad stuff. So
Okay.
blaming somebody else for what happens is a no
Mm.
in the law of karma. So if something bad, you are supposed to be the observer and the observed. So you're supposed to be saying to yourself, why is this happening to me? What why is it happening now? What is it I'm supposed to learn? you know, because bad things sometimes happen because you're supposed to learn something.
Learn something from it. Yeah.
Then there's a law of connection, which is like there is no past and there's no future. There's only now. And why is that significant? There's only now because what you do now will be your past.
Okay.
And what you do now establish the basis for your future. So by concentrating, you mustn't forget your past or your future. It's not inviting you to do that. It's saying, think of this action that you're doing now. What mess are you leaving behind? What goodness are you leaving behind? What foundation are you building for the future? What is it that you're doing? It invites you to say, what kind of future I want to create and what kind of legacy I want to leave. So it invites you that every step you take, that you account for it now.
Hmm.
So that's the law of connection. No past, no future, only now.
No. Okay.
Right. So, there, I forgot there's an African nation that has no language for the future.
Okay.
I,
They
I
have no
forgot which.
language for the
No, no,
future.
no. There's no word that describes the future. I forgot which one it is. I think they're in South Africa, but I might be wrong. And the reason why they say that there isn't is that time is counted by the things you do.
Hmm.
And you can count time because you talk about the things that you've done. And you can count time because you can talk about the things that you're doing. But you can't count time because you have not yet engaged and do things. And in a way, I think there's something to be said about that it invites you again to be thinking about, what am I doing and what have I done?
Hmm.
Because invariably that will become your past and set up the foundation for the future. Then there's a law of focus. And in this busy, 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 busy world where we're invited to multitask and to get a million things on the go and spin 12 plates at the same time, the law of karma says no. It says no. It says the things which you water are the things that grow. So focus on the important things,
Hmm.
because that's what will grow. That's where your focus is. That's what you're watering. That's what's going to grow. And if you do focus on lots of things, you probably get tiny little bulbs everywhere or whatever. But what you won't get is this big tree that you want to flourish. So what
Hmm.
you focus on is what will grow. So that's what the law of karma says.
Okay.
Um, then there's the law of giving. And I have to say, I really love this one because it says, judge people by what they do, not what they say. It says, what you believe is all very well, but karma is not interested in that. It's what you manifest by your actions.
Hmm.
So
I
you
love
can
that.
have the grumpy old person that has never spoken to anybody, but is the one that creates the schools and creates the whatever, and not talk to anybody. They go away, hide, but the school is there as a manifestation of the love which they have in their heart. And so
Hmm.
karma is not interested in your boasting and your words or how wonderful you
You
describe
think you
yourself
are.
or
Hmm.
other people describe you. It is saying, by your deeds so shall I judge you. And that's what that law says.
Hmm.
um the law of here and now is very much linked to the law of connection, because it just says, dream about the future and the past, but address the issue in front of you now. Address the problem now. Do fix the thing now. Don't leave it till tomorrow, whatever. You've messed up in the past, that's fine, but don't let it define you, what's happening to you now. You know,
Hmm.
you were a crazy person then, you were a bad person then, you know, whatever you were then, that's terrible, but fix it now. It's here now. You know, you whatever, lead the lady across the road, give somebody £10, whatever it is. You didn't do those things in the past. People
Hmm.
hate you for it, whatever it is, but now fix that now. Do it now.
Hmm.
So it's about here and now. Again, those two are linked. Then this is a beautiful one, which many people say, I don't know why I attract these terrible men, women. I always seem to attract the same kind of, and I don't know why, and you know, all that. The law of change says history repeats itself until we learn the lesson that we need in order to change our behavior. And if you do not learn the lesson, history will continue to repeat itself no matter where you go, no matter how many times you leave a relationship, a job, you know, whatever. If you take those same behaviors and have not learned the lesson, it will exactly, you'll get the exact result that you got last time. So that's the law of change.
Hmm.
And lastly, it's the law. Oh no, it's not. There's two. There's a law of patience and reward, and it says patience isn't always about. Um, it's not always about what's waiting for what's to happen. Patience is about understanding your situation, and there's a saying which says, am I waiting because I'm impatient, or am I impatient because I'm waiting? And it gives you, there's a conundrum which you've got to solve. And so, you know, many people will say, I'm waiting for X, and then it asks you, are you waiting for it because you are patient, or let's do it another. Am I impatient because I'm waiting, or am I waiting because I'm impatient? So it gives you a conundrum about what patience should be. And once you solve that conundrum, then you will understand what's happening in your
Hmm.
situation. So it's not always about waiting. It's about the fact that you're looking for some reward, and you think by patiently sitting there, it will come to you. But the law of karma says, no, it doesn't work like that, because your reward might only come to you through action, not through
Hmm.
not through sitting and waiting for it. It doesn't always work like that. It's a really peculiar one, and it's one which has kind of got lots more attached to it, and probably another time. And so the law of significance is the last one, and this is the one which is very, very, very important. It says everyone has a value, and often, crucially, that value is shaped by you.
Hmm.
So when you meet the man that's begging in the street, other people have put values on him, but your interaction with him, his value is shaped by your interaction, not by other people, not by what other people say. You might take on what other people have told you, but how are you going to shape that person in front of you? How will you shape your interaction? Will he be a human being, a pest? You know, how will you shape that? And the person that you bumped into when you're going on the bus, what shape did you have in your head of this person? And the important thing is that if you were very kind, inspiring, despite the fact that they bumped into you. You might have saved a life because that person might have been on their way to commit suicide. So
Hmm.
it was your action that gave them confidence in humanity that made them change their mind. So you shaped that situation. So it invites you to think about everything that's happening. So it said the best reward is to contribute to the whole, and the end result is of little value if you leave little or nothing behind.
Hmm.
So those are the laws of karma.
Wow. My royals, what can I say? I mean, there are questions that I'm going to ask Hyacinth in a minute. Let me just take these chats from my royals. Maureen, good evening. Thank you for joining. Amaka, thank you for joining. Mercy, thank you for joining. Stanley, you know you're always welcome. Robin, you're a star. Now, and there are more people still joining. Um, Now, Robin says, Karma versus Gremlins. Thankfully, none today so far, but who would win? Robin, seriously. And then he says that it's a universal law, the law of conservation of energy. It just gets converted from one form to another, e.g., potential to kinetic light to heat, anger to love. And then Stanley says, whatever a man sows, that shall he also reap. And Messi thinks it's interesting. And he says, karma is like what you reap what you sow. Absolutely. Absolutely. Before I ask you all the questions that I have for you, if you were going to sum up all the 12 laws of karma, what would you sum it as in one?
I would say that I'd go back to the first law, um, which is the great law,
Mm,
um, the law that says there is no separation between anything. There's no me or you. There just is.
mm,
And every time I harm the least of God, creator, whatever, if you're a religious creature, you're also harming yourself. There is no separation.
you reap what
And
you sow. Mm,
that that's the summing up. The others are just explaining what you need to be mindful of in order not to break that law.
totally. I agree. Amaka says, what goes around comes around. Absolutely. In a nutshell. Okay, now this is really good. So to my questions, like most people think of karma as a luck or punishment, but you've said it's really about your action, your work, and deeds. So how can someone who's stuck in a cycle of struggling, for instance, if they're struggling with life or whatever, begin to practically break free from that and rewrite their karma? Say they want to start today, for instance. How can they actually go about doing that?
Okay, so there are three things. One, you are the person in charge, you're making what happen. You can't blame other people. You're the observer and the observed. So you have to sit down and give yourself a good talking to and say, what are my particular action? How do I behave? What are my key um, go-to behavior in any situation? Do I love too much? Because there is such a thing as loving too much. Because
Hmm,
even within love, there are boundaries.
right.
Because if you do not set boundaries, people don't understand love.
Oh man, talk about it. Talk
So,
about
so
it.
what does that mean? It means that if I truly love you and you have behaviors which are detrimental to me and to yourself, and I continue to love you despite that, i.e., make you get away with it, then that's not true love. That's
Hmm.
that's just encouraging a behavior
Enabling.
which is wrong for everybody. If I truly love you, I'm going to do certain things which make you aware of that behavior. And by doing that, I'm helping you to grow. So you go back to the person and you're saying, how do I start each story whenever I meet a person? and how does the story end?
Mm.
And then you backtrack and try to say to yourself, what is my contribution? Because some people, they're the kindest souled, and people take liberties and
Them for
advantage.
granted. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story about giving to illustrate, stuck in a rule and how I approach it. I can't say how other people. So I was going into the supermarket and there is a guy that was there and he was begging. I gave him £20. We all talked and we asked about what's happening, and he was from Eastern Europe, and he showed me a picture of his mother and family, and he was saying, this is where we live. I've come over here and I was caught up in this Brexit, and so I'm kind of in a thing because I don't have anywhere, but I just want some food, and I'm not. Anyway, we spent a long time talking, probably about 20 minutes, and explain why he came here and everything like that. The next time I went to the supermarket, I looked him straight in the face and he didn't recognize me. And I was with somebody else, and they said, "Oh, I said, you usually give. Why didn't you give?" So I said, he's a beggar. His only job is to beg. Now, one rule about begging is that you recognize your benefactors. If you don't recognize them, what are you doing begging? Because
Mm.
they're the people you depend on to give you money. I said, my hair is red. Couldn't be redder. I'm not hard to mix. So my lesson is about, if you're going to do something, whether it's begging or not, do it to the best of your ability and try to recognize your customers and those people who are good to you and interact with you,
Mm.
so that the next time he asked me for money, I looked him straight in the eye. I said, no, the last time I gave you, this is what happened.
That's right.
So that you are actually generous, but you also want to teach somebody a lesson about the way that they behave.
Yeah.
Right. Another person that I was going into the supermarket, and this is a white guy, and he's begging, and he said to me, may I have some money from you? I want to buy some oxtail. And he said, I bought some rice and peas, but I want some oxtail to go with it. I didn't care whether he was telling the truth. He did have something in his hand. And I gave him some money. And the person why did you give him some money? It's clearly, how do you know he's telling the truth? I said, he knows he's working in a black area. He's researched his market. If he's gone to the trouble of understanding oxtail, rice and peas and have a conversation with me, then he respects me. He's done a little job to understanding that he's doing a job. He's begging. He understands. He's begging from black people. He's trying to strike up a conversation which is relevant, etc., etc., etc. What I'm saying is that we when somebody's stuck in a rut, they have a job to do, but we also have a job to help them out of that rut
Mm.
and not collude with it.
Interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Okay. The second, in fact, let me just take these comments first from my royals. Robin says that should you set expectations of karma or leave it be to do its thing? E.g., for bad people, it is tempting to just say, wait until karma catches up with you. And why do some people get away with it without karma coming around to them?
Nobody gets away with it. Nobody gets away with it. Nobody gets away with it. You see, it depends what religion you are and how you see these things.
Mm,
One religion will say that in the next life you'll suffer, and you'll have to. You came here to learn something. You did not learn it, and therefore
mm,
you will have to come back to learn that. One religion will say that. Another religion will say you go to hell, you go to purgatory, and you're tormented. Other religion, what I'm saying is that according to karma, nobody ever gets away with it
gets
because you
away with
can't.
it.
No,
Yeah.
there's no, I think we tend to judge it by they didn't lose the big house and the car, and they were terrible to people, etc., etc. But I'm always kind of philosophical about this thing. And I will say to you, despite everything that they've done, I've never seen a hearse with a house behind it. I've
There you
never
go.
seen,
Can't take it with you.
the bones rot, the flesh rot, everything in the same way that if you didn't buy those things. So those things invariably don't belong to you anyway. It's a fool's errand. It's a fool's errand in that it's not yours, it's never yours. You leave it, whether you leave it to your children or not, it's still not theirs. It's a fool's errand to do things in order to get certain things, because you will have to leave them in the same way that everybody else before you have left it. So I'm not saying you mustn't enjoy life, etc., but it's a fool's errand to think that it's only ever given to you for a short period of time.
True.
And by the
True.
time you get to a certain age, clothes don't fit you anymore. You
Yeah.
can't walk. All these things happen. So it's a fool's errand that you don't understand the cycle of life. So nobody gets away with it.
Mm.
Nobody gets away with it. That's
Robin,
my philosophy.
Robin, you hear that? Nobody gets away with it. I've been scammed countless times. I've been taken for granted so many times. I've been heartbroken. I've been everything,
So
used and abused, but they won't get away with
yeah,
it.
but
That's
but
all
the
I'm
thing
going to
is,
say.
karma has two sides to that. Karma said, that what happens to them is none of your business. Karma
Mm.
says, what did you learn from it? Why it keeps happening to you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's what karma
Absolutely.
says. What did
Mm.
you learn from that experience? Why it keeps repeating itself? It says the reward is not to do with you. The learning is to do with you. I will deal with the reward. I will sort out the reward, whether it's in this life or the other.
But
And I
what you
think it's
learning
the
from it? What have you
Old
learned from it?
Testament, although I'm not
Mm.
Christian, I've read the Bible. The Old
Mm.
Testament, something about it will be visited unto the third and fourth
Children. Yeah. Yeah.
generation. But it
Mm.
also can mean it will be visited unto you up until the third and fourth incarnation. I think there
Mm.
was one interpretation of the
Generation.
Bible.
Yeah.
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 So I'm just saying that, we are microscopic. We don't understand the wider things. There's a thing that a man went to God and said, um, he wanted to understand time, and he said, you know, something like, God said, something like, this amount of money is like 2 pence to me or whatever, and he and time is endless. And he said to God, if that's the case, can I have 2 pence? Because 2 pence is like £1,000,000. It's like 2 pence to God is like £1,000,000 to man. And he said, can I have 2 pence? And God said, wait a minute.
Right. See? Wait a minute.
So what I'm saying is that in illustration about what is £1,000,000 to us in the whole scheme of the
Scheme of
universe,
things. Mm.
and what is a day or 90 years in the whole scheme of the universe is nothing.
Mm.
And in a way we can only judge because of our tiny lifespan and what we know. But
That's
in the
right.
wider scheme of things, this is not where we end. This is not the end of it. So we can't say they never paid for it or whatever, because we don't know. It's just a tiny bit that we know, and it's a tiny
Mm.
bit that we understand. And these rules can only ever guide us about here and now.
Mm. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this show. Stanley says timelessness and immortality are a couple. Okay. Hyacinth. That's interesting, isn't it? Timelessness and immortality are a couple. It's true. Timelessness is it,
Yeah,
like endless, isn't it?
exactly.
Immortality is the same thing.
and
Yeah.
and
Okay.
and and we are immortals. It tells us that we are immortals. We can shed the body, but we can't, you know,
The soul.
we yeah, we that is just part of the universe and part of, and that is why we are godlike, because that aspect of us is never decay, never
That
changes. Yeah, yeah.
right. Absolutely. Robin says it seems like there are many people. Um, there are many people getting away with it. So many people get away with it. Example. What about the orange long march from the
The
USA?
orange man from America is a wonderful example. I welcome the orange man, because I think that he's sent for a purpose. And I think without the orange man, many people will sit on the fence. But the orange man has been able to bring out all the evil so that people can see what it is. There is no longer a pretense that this thing is not so good or not so bad. Those people that profess to be good can only be on one side, and they have to fight it.
Mm,
If the orange man wasn't there, we would not be able to see those things. Those things would be hidden.
mm,
And those things are being made manifest for a particular reason. That those people that profess to be good have got to put on their uniform, and they've got to do the things that they are supposed to do. If they don't, then they're professing to be good is like a chocolate teapot. It's absolutely no good at all. So
mm,
that you cannot believe in God. Lots of people do, and I believe in God, but not necessarily the way that other people do. But you cannot believe in God and then say that the orange man isn't part of a manifestation for a greater good. It is there for a greater good. It says, as above, so below. If there's a battle here, there's a battle elsewhere. You know, it's not about physical goodness. It's spiritual fight between good and evil. And if that's the case, we should welcome it, because those of us who profess to want to do good have got to give up on our isms and skivings and band together so that good prevails. The orange man has brought that to us. He's brought the fight to us. We've been quite kind of nonchalant, the people who profess to be good. And we've just kind of sat back because, life is just trundling on. And while we're doing that, evil has kind of quietly pervade
mm, mm,
the,
mm, mm,
the world. Now that the orange man has brought with him is legions of evil people, or he's allowed them to manifest themselves, we know who they are. We know what they are. We know what they give. And he's allowed that to happen. So I welcome him. I welcome him. It's not an evil act. It's an act to make sure that evil is seen for what it is.
so we have to do something about it. We have to stand
We
up.
have to. We have
Yeah.
to. We have to. We have to. We have to create, because it's only through creation, and the only way to create is through genuine love. It's about
Mm,
joining together, which is exactly what this law is about, is that there is no separation between you and I. We are
mm.
one. What I do to you, I do unto myself.
Nice one. Nice one. Hi, Edith. Thank you for joining. Hi, Gary. Thank you for joining. Gary says karma is sometimes about the person's affected see you experience the spoils of your way. Sorry, Gary. Is it me that I'm not reading this well? Karma is sometimes about the person's affected see you experience the spoils of your way.
I think they're probably trying to say um the way what happens to people sometime it's because of some other thing they've done, and that is what karma is about. But
Yeah.
it doesn't say that you can't change, because it says we're here to learn. and it's through learning that we change.
Mm.
And without learning, we do not change. We have to understand what's happening to us. We have to ask questions and we have to change. That's why I said yesterday, yes, everything was bad, it's gone. Learn from it and think about what you're doing today so that tomorrow won't be a repeat of what happened yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. So the 12 laws of karma are often spoken about spiritually, but you believe they also apply to leadership and businesses or organizations, right? Can you share an example of how a leader, for example, or a community could thrive by applying these laws in real life?
Yeah. I think I'd go back to the law of growth. It's sometimes called the law of attraction.
Mm.
And one thing I know about community leaders is that they often come from what you call, they're often people that have had bad things happen to them and they want good things to happen to people. They they're called the wounded healers
Right.
because they feel pain and they know what pain feel like. They recognize it and they don't want other people to go through pain. So if you've been through a traumatic experience and you let it dominate you instead of learning from it, you won't be a good community leader
Mm.
because you'll become you're doing it for yourself, for your only for your own healing, and you become a slave to that experience, um, and your behavior in the outer world will reflect that. However, if you truly learn from it and you understand about growth and how to use that to galvanize that to help people to grow, then that's where the law of karma. So, for example, as a parent, if you want your children to study books, instead of spending your time doing other things and telling them that they should go and read your book, you must read your book. Instead of just generally, you just take this step to improve yourself, to show that you enjoy books.
Mm.
And then you are creating an environment that they don't only hear it, they feel it and understand it. So that's what I'd say about community leader. Don't preach and tell people what they ought to do.
Mm.
You know, create the environment that show them what it is to be those things.
To lead
Um,
by example.
lead by example. Um, and I suppose in a work setting, um, that would play out in terms of rewarding and appreciating your co-workers and your customers. And those are the business that grow because people appreciate being noticed, their problems being understood, being individuals rather than, a kind of whole. And I think it's about the way what we do. Um, I'm a customer of I think it's called Octopus Energy.
Okay.
I don't know that I know that their prices are good, but I don't know that if they're much better energy but they're wonderful in terms of writing to you and finding out things and sending you information and just kind of, generally thinking about you can get free energy this Sunday if you do it on a Sunday instead of whatever it is. It's this idea that their interaction with you and whether you're special or not, you actually feel, oh, they're thinking, they're not just taking my money, they're
Mm.
actually thinking about my experience as a customer. They're thinking
That's
about
you
what
want
I
to make
might,
me switch my you want to make me switch my supplier now?
yeah, but you know what I mean. It's
Yeah.
about, they're thinking about what you feel, not only what they're getting out of it. And as a community
Mm,
leader, that's what I think. It's about them not only preaching, because we're good at preaching and telling people what they should do,
hmm.
but it's about creating the right conditions and environment for that to happen.
Okay. 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 Nice one. Okay. So,
So sorry,
you worked
just
across.
sorry. If you want people to feel inspired,
Yeah.
work together as a team and create something special that will inspire them, rather than
That's
giving them
true.
instructions to go and do things. Treat people well, inspire them, teach them as much as you can through action. And I think you'll feel better at night thinking that you have a team of people that are kind of working around you and have your back, rather than a team of people who are frightened of you because you're going to fire them because they're not doing the right thing. So that's how it works out.
I 1,000,000% agree. Totally. Totally. So, being that you're somebody who's worked across the government, the police, housing, community transformation, environments, and stuff like that, um, you would have been in places where there's a lot of conflicts, inequality, or injustice, right? So, which
Yes.
of these 12 laws has personally guided you in most of these challenging spaces?
Do you know what? For me, it's the law of here and now.
Okay.
And the reason why is that if I dwell on the past, I'd just end up with a gun shooting a lot of people or burying lots of people in the basement because of all the bad things they do and all the bad things I hear and
Yeah.
whatever. And so, in as much as I don't want to live with regret, guilt, and blame or shame for my past, I try to make each day a start. And I'm not saying forget what people do to you. I'm saying don't become a slave to it, because you'll never go anywhere. You'll never move. You'll just and I hope people will forgive me when I put it like this. You will
Mm.
spend your life shoveling yesterday's shit.
Oh boy. Mm, mm.
You
Tell
will
it like it is.
you will get up today and you'll try to fix what happened yesterday. And you'll get up the day after and you try to fix what happened, and you're fixing what happened, and you fix. And you can't always do that. Sometimes it's gross, but you have to concentrate on how can I make a difference today and fix certain, do what I need to do today, the here and now, which is not to say it. There's a quote that says, yesterday's history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today's a gift. And that's why it's called the present.
Mm. There you go.
There's another one that said, never think hard about the past, it brings tears. Don't think more about the future, it brings fears. Live this moment with a smile, it brings cheers. I'm not saying it's the total answer, but it's a survival. It's actually a way to survive. Um, because when you live in those spaces, if you don't do that, eventually you become so kind of petrified, not doing anything at all, and just kind of
Mm,
trying to fix and placate and not moving,
mm.
that your whole life will be spent doing nothing. So I tend to kind of concentrate on how can I make this space deliver as much as it can today.
I love that. I love that. I love that. My royals, what are you saying in the chats? Like you're so enthralled. It's like this is like a teaching session, really. We're learning a lot. And everybody's just listening, like, keep talking, keep talking. Put something in the chat, ask as many questions as you want to ask, because I'm going to ask the next one now. And like we talked about the law of cause and effect. And it says we reap what we sow, yeah. But in today's fast-paced world, people often expect this microwave thing, instant results. How do we balance patience, persistence, and trust in the process when rewards don't come immediately?
Well, I did talk about karma is not about instant reward, although it can be. But I think, to be fair to everybody, I'm not saying don't do what you do and pace what you want, but all I'm saying to you, go and shop where you need to shop, but be prepared to pay the price.
Get what you pay for.
That is the balance. If you're
Mm,
willing to pay the price, then it doesn't matter what you do because you've already calculated the price is really severe. And so I'm willing to pay the price for this.
mm.
Um, and so I would say the answer to that is that calculate what you're willing to pay and then go for what you need to go to. Again, in the Christian Bible and in other places, it talks about what is it you're willing to accumulate for now in return for losing the after, which is in some religion is that you've got to come back and suffer. That there's a thing in Buddhism that say that don't commit suicide because you will never have learned the lesson which you were sent here to learn, and when you come back you will be stuck with the same lesson, with the same
So you could
situation before
learn.
you commit suicide. In
Mm.
Christianity it says, what does it something a man to gain the whole
Profit to
world
man to gain the whole world
and
and lose his soul.
and lose his soul. I can't remember what some of the others say, but
Mm,
all of them say something similar.
mm. True.
So calculate your price and then go to the shop that suits you best.
Okay. Okay. Edith says, I suppose we'll learn from our past and then match on or keep it moving. So you learn from your past mistakes so that you don't repeat them again and you move on to become a better version of yourself, I guess.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is it too,
Totally.
in a nutshell. Yeah.
Perfect. So if someone was watching us right now and applied even one of these 12 laws in their daily lives, which law would you choose for them? And why why that one is above the rest? Why do you think that that particular law that you would choose for them would be above the rest? I know you did mention the very first law. You said that would
Yeah, this
kind of
is
like
it's
sum up
the first
everything.
law. It's the
Yeah, okay.
first law. It's the first law because it encapsulates everything. But you know what? If you can't do that one because that's a hard one, I would say the law of significance and inspiration, or the one they call law of value and upliftment, which is everybody is important and
Mm,
is significant, and the significance is applied by you. So whenever you see somebody who's the least of us, treat them like the best of us, and that's
mm.
that's enough.
Wow. You know something? This show, I always watch this, like my shows over and over again, but this one, I will probably watch it more than everything else because it really, you need to, every single, because a lot of people, I'm not even sure a lot of people know or before now that there was flaws of karma. Because the only one we always know is you reap what you sow. Karma is real. You reap what you sow. But there's so many things, but they are all intertwined. They're all intertwined. So I guess to be a better version of yourself, you cannot do one without the other. You need to live all of them and practicalize all of them to be able to to grow so that you don't repeat the same mistakes in the next life if there is a next life. You know what I mean? So that's amazing. Guys, honestly, keep the comments coming in. We're gonna be like as short and sweet as possible tonight. And we're about an hour already, so I'm not going to take too long. But as we close to this episode, let's reflect on the wisdom we've uncovered. The 12 laws of karma, they are not about fear, luck, or punishment. They are guiding principles, timeless reminders that our thoughts, our words, our actions shape not only our destiny, but also the world around us. From the great law of cause and effect, reminding us that what we sow, we reap, to the law of creation, which calls us to be co creators of our reality. The law of humility teaches us acceptance, while the law of growth reminds us that true change begins within. right? And be the change really that you want to see. The law of responsibility grounds us in accountability, and the law of connection shows us that everything in the universe is linked. The law of focus keeps us aligned. The law of giving and hospitality encourages us generosity. And the law of here and now anchors us in the presence. The law of change reassures us that nothing remains stagnant. As a matter of fact, the only thing that is constant is change, right? The law of patience and reward affirms that persistence pays. And the law of significance and inspiration reminds us that every small act holds power and meaning. And together, these laws form a powerful blueprint for living a purpose-driven life, an empowered life, and a fulfilled life. Guys, honestly, what do you say? Amaka, Edith says, however, if we embrace all teaching, we become a master of none. We become a master of none. No, you become a master of everything. I think it is. If you embrace all the teaching, you grow, not just not like in mentally and spiritually, you grow. And that growth actually will reflect in every area of your life because you take it not just as a human being for yourself, but you apply it in your work, in your relationships, in your finances, in dealing with people. You just become a more rounded whole person, a whole human being. You know, that's what I think. Amaka says, I think if you make any mistake, step on it and forge ahead. Totally, absolutely, absolutely. But my call to action today, really, for each and every one of us is just don't listen to these laws. Let's not just listen to them. Let's live them. Let's apply them in our relationships, in our work, in our community, and most importantly, within ourselves. And in this episode, seriously, guys, if you've been inspired with this episode, I actually think you should share this episode because I'm definitely going to share it again. I think a lot of people need to hear this, right? I think a lot of people need to hear this. Guys, honestly, Hyacinth, I don't even know what to say. You have to come back on this show because there's so much. Like in a few minutes before the show, yeah, Hyacinth and I were just talking, and she said some certain things that blew my mind. And I asked her to come on the show, and she was like, "Do you know that Hyacinth is been married for almost 50 years?" I mean, I wish you would come on this show to talk about relationships as well. Because nowadays, I mean, how many relationships have been like, do you hear that it's even 5 years or 10 years? 50 years in a relationship and it's still going strong. You've got to come and tell us how this is happening. Because you hardly get that nowadays, you know. So this is like I'm blown away by that, you know. So thank you so much for your words of wisdom. Thank
You're
you, thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome. It's been a
Honest,
pleasure.
seriously, you really need to come back, you know, and I'm sure you have some other nuggets. Oh, by the way, Hyacinth is writing a book. Some point, she will come and, you know, I will invite her to this show to come and talk about the book. And then you will have to buy the book because it's about relationships. I think we need that. I need that. I need it too. Guys, look, listen, if this episode has inspired you, please share it with someone. Please just share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Like I said, YouTube are on my case. They want me to get to 1,000 subscribers. They think I'm just playing. And I'm not really, I'm doing my best, but people are not, some people, not everybody. I mean, all the people that are here have subscribed. So thank you so much. But for those of you who are watching without subscribing, please now just help my market and subscribe. All right? Subscribe. Guys, thank you so much. And I'm going to say good night to everyone. But until next time, guys, remember that your actions are seeds. Your life is the harvest. Choose wisely, live consciously, stay bold, guys. Stay kind, stay empowered, guys. Oh, Robin says, does Hyacinth play computer games? That looks like a gamer. Oh, that looks like a gamer chair. Your chair. I knew Robin was going to say something about that chair. I just knew it.
We're not going to
You,
talk games today.
we're not going to talk games today, Robin. We're not going to talk games today. But guys, thank you so much for joining. This has been an amazing show. Thank you so much, Hyacinth. I really appreciate you, and I hope you will come back again to this show, guys. Next week is going to be a good one as well, guys. I hope you will join us and share again. Right. So until next week, guys, stay bold, stay kind, stay empowered, and remember the 12 laws of karma. Okay. I love you guys. Thank you, Hyacinth.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Empower life with Cleopatra. Awaken the best version of you. Unlock your true potential. Empower your mind, body, and soul. Live with intentions, live with a purpose. Empower your dreams, make it happen today. No matter your age, rise and shine. Live boldly, live authentically. It's your time to rise and shine. Empower life with Cleopatra. Awaken the best version of you. Your journey starts today. You've got one life to live. Love yourself, be kind to others, break free and let your spirit soar. Empower life with Cleopatra will help you awaken the best version of you.